The knowing field, it reveals truths that words don't always capture. It also reveals patterns and loyalties or dynamics that live in the body and in that family system.
So I would just invite our listeners to think of a time that you felt something without any evidence.
And as you stand there, one horse begins to notice you. It approaches quietly with curiosity and presence.
And imagine standing in the quiet presence of a horse and just notice what might be happening with your body.
And but in my experience, that builds trust from the inside out. But it's really profound. Welcome back to the Healing You Method podcast. I'm Gloria Lybecker, and I'm here with my dear friend and co-host, Gail Donahue.
Hi, everyone. It's so nice to be here with you today. And this is going to be one of my favorite conversations because I'm having it with Gloria, and it's all about how horses reflect what we cannot see.
Mm. Yeah, so we're going to explore the knowing field and how horses actually amplify that field, and their intuitive presence, it reveals the hidden dynamics of our inner world.
Yeah, that's so amazing. Let's begin with the knowing field. This is a morphic field, a relational field of awareness that holds information beyond what we consciously know.
Yes, and it's when we tap into that, that's what we tap into when we step into the constellations. The knowing field, it reveals truths that words don't always capture. It also reveals patterns and loyalties or dynamics that live in the body and in that family system.
Mhm.
There's there was one time that was quite impactful where a woman stepped into the knowing field and with a collective herd, and in that field there was all of her family. Her family was there, all of her different siblings, and as it unfolded, though, it was just so incredibly powerful because as she was gazing across to this one horse that was standing looking at her, and all of a sudden the horse just fell down and laid on its side. And she just crumpled forward, and it was, I put my hand on her back to offer energetic support, and she revealed that it was her brother. They'd been in a war and her brother had been harmed. He didn't pass, but it was bringing back parts of her experience living through this very traumatic event that allowed these layers of conditioning that had impacted her and her siblings to slowly come back into this healing space where they could connect in a completely different way. And it was so profound. It was a world between worlds. And
Mhm.
so it's just horses, they when they tune in, they really do accompany us to step in between worlds, to recognize that which we may never have recognized before.
Mhm. Yeah. That's a beautiful illustration of the mystery of the knowing field, which is, brings forward by the horses, the information. And it's not logical,
Mm.
but when it shows itself, the body recognizes it as true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I would just invite our listeners to think of a time that you felt something without any evidence. You just had a gut knowing that something, you anticipated something happening, or you just had a knowing of something was going to happen. And if you have had that, that is a glimpse of this wonderful knowing field.
Yeah, and I would love to invite our listeners into a brief visualization. So it's an opportunity to step into the field with the healing herd and notice what arises in you. So if you're in a place where this you're able to close your eyes, please do. If not, just listen. So if it feels comfortable to you, you can close your eyes or just lower your gaze downward and allow your body to settle and take a slow and steady breath.
Mm.
And then really feel your feet on the earth beneath you. And imagine yourself standing in a quiet and open field, a pasture. The air is clear and fresh. The ground is firm and supportive beneath your feet. And just notice the presence of horses nearby, the healing herd. Notice what comes to you. And just take a moment to see them in your mind's eye, their soft eyes, the sound of their breathing, and the way they move together in rhythm. And as you stand there, one horse begins to notice you. It approaches quietly with curiosity and presence. And notice what happens in your body as the horse draws near to you. Do you sense expansion, relaxation? Maybe even some fears can well up. Notice if there's any place of tension within you that comes into your awareness, and just simply notice what you notice. The horse is reflecting your inner world without words. It's an invitation to witness yourself gently with compassion. I invite you to take a deep breath and imagine offering yourself that very same gentle, non judging presence. And when you're ready, imagine the horse gently moving off back to join the herd, leaving you with a felt sense of being seen and known exactly as you are. And then gently bring your awareness back to the room and open your eyes when you're ready. This is the gift of the healing herd. The way they mirror us with truth and compassion, it invites us into a deeper awareness.
Mm. Wow, that was so lovely. And and I wonder if I could just invite you that to see that even through imagination, you
Mhm.
may notice your body has shifted. And that is the knowing field at work, showing you what's ready to be seen.
Mm. Yeah. The horses, they they don't filter as we do through the ego or words. Their bodies and presence, they reflect the truth of the moment, of the now. And they reveal to us whatever's maybe hidden. It may be grief or fear, it could be love or longing.
And I know that you've explained to me, Gloria, that when someone enters the field with the healing horses, and I also have experienced it with you too, with doing it, but the horses will move and position themselves or shift energy in ways that mirror the person's inner dynamics.
Yeah, it's so true. There was one time that my there was a woman came in. She was just really cloaked, literally cloaked with a very depressive, energetic. And there was a kind of a slack face and just this ooh, heavy energy. And it literally was very dark and rainy and
Mm.
heavy weather as well. And we had on raincoats and all. And a horse came and just started bucking around and then stopped right in front of her and snort and then back around, come back around and snort. And it was just like, I'd never seen this horse do this ever. And as I checked in with the woman, I'm like, what are you receiving? And for her, she's like, wake up. It was just, it was so powerful. It just is incredible what the horses can reveal.
Mm. Yeah, that's a great example of it. And when, I've been in with the working with the knowing field, and what I've witnessed is that um, there's a sense that people realize that they don't have to perform in being there, and that seems to allow more of our nervous system to relax and open up, and as we feel safer to see things that we haven't seen before, and we can move away from trying to perform and do it right, to be just being curious and looking at what's happening in me, and it really slows down the clock or the time so that people can can see themselves or can see the situation with a new kindness, and it's not anything dramatic necessarily, but it's more like profound and a real inner knowledge, and so it can feel like there's less tension, and less bracing and more breathing, and a really significant more of belonging and belonging with yourself, which I find so valuable. And so, well, let's just invite our listeners right now to imagine standing as you took us through with your visualization, um, and imagine standing in the quiet presence of a horse, and just notice what might be happening with your body, what might be happening with your breath, what might you notice with tension in your chest or your abdomen, and just be curious about it without any judgment at all. And
Yeah.
when we do this, we can see how the horses help reveal our inner world. They, as Gloria said in her example, they reflect back what we're carrying beneath the surface, underneath that cloak.
Mm.
If there's tension, they show it. And if there's some openness, then they move towards it.
Yeah, what I really love about the work with the horses or partnering with them is how they bring us into the now.
Mhm.
It's to get us out of our head and trying to figure it out, to just simply notice what we notice and allowing the things to click into place, basically. You know, it's
Mm.
it, the it's hidden because we haven't been able to see it. And when we are open and we are willing to allow ourselves to experience something new, we can then receive something that we couldn't before. And what in my experience that builds trust from the inside out. But it's really profound.
Yeah.
And it really then also being able to then apply that into your life to see, well, where does this fit into my life? Where am I being called to step forward now? And
Mm.
being willing then to apply what we've learned. And the other thing that's really beautiful is when people connect with the horse in this way, even if it's on a Zoom call, there's an energetic that happens that they then have this connection with this other being that's always here and available to them.
Mhm.
And that's such a gift, such a gift.
Yeah, yeah, it is. And I, that one key that, well, for me, a key that I really heard what you shared, Gloria, is that when that hidden piece is revealed, then the key, it no longer drives our choices of what we're doing,
Mhm.
from that hidden shadow part of ourselves. We can become more aware, the flashlight's shown on it, and we can be in more choice. So
Mhm.
it really allows healing to become possible. And so, listeners, you might want to be curious about what parts of your inner world might be waiting to be seen.
Yeah.
And, how would it feel in your body to have them reflected back to you with compassion rather than judgment?
Yeah. Oh, I love this exploration today
Mm.
of the knowing field and really starting to dip into how horses do amplify that and the way that their intuitive presence reveals those hidden dynamics of the inner worlds.
Yeah, yeah. So our invitation for you today is just to stay curious
Mm.
and notice where your body, your interactions, your relationships, or even like the natural world might already be reflecting truths that you haven't seen. And when you slow down and be curious, you may start to see them and be able to name them. And with that, just want to say that we are going to introduce our next episode for next session. We're going to be welcoming Yorona Boaster for her session on From Silence to Strength, the Power of Your Voice.
Yorona is a two-time best-selling author whose story of resilience and transformation will really touch your heart. So we'll explore with her what it means to move from silence to strength and how finding your authentic voice can become a path to healing and purpose.
Until next time, may you let yourself be mirrored with compassion and welcome the truths that arise from the field.
And may the presence of the healing herd remind you of what you already carry inside.